Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers. Checka, checka, checka. Microphone checka. No mistakes this week, because I'm about to go live.
Let's hope we got a video this. Let's hope we got a video this week.
Hey, it's 50 years of hip hop. To think that I am hip hop, bro.
Okay.
1973. That's when it started. That's when the jam started. The Jimmy Jam, the house jams. With Cool Herc.
Wow, you old.
Grow, please. You old. Ooh, boy.
Welcome y'all to another episode of Sippin' on Excellence. Back at you, man.
Back at it.
For those of you who missed this week's warm-up show, check us out on IG. You'll see the replay of it on @LanL and also on the SOE_ podcast.
Mm-hmm. I wish there were a way that you can do like multiple
live on at once.
Invite. Yeah.
Without having to check in.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, well.
It'll probably get figured out. They'll probably have that shit out soon.
There's this idea of more communication. So
yeah,
since this is the only way people are communicating, go figure.
Yeah, but it was good live. It's going to spill over into our topic today, so that's a good one. Mm-hmm. But we just wanted to welcome you guys. Thank you always for tuning in, and it's always a pleasure to bring y'all shit talking and laughing and
that stuff.
Educate you. Piss you off a little bit.
Edutainment. Edutainment.
Exactly.
I don't even think we really piss anybody off.
Some people get rubbed wrong, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But, those people get rubbed wrong. That means it's for them.
Yep. That means you needed to hear it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to hear about themselves.
No, of course not. Of course not, man.
No.
I don't like to hear about myself, but keep that shit to yourself.
Keep it to you.
Keep your
that thought you had.
Yeah.
Write it
right
down.
There.
Put it on a sheet of paper. Put it in your back pocket. We'll get to that later.
How about this? We just keep it as a thought.
Mm-hmm. Your thought.
Yeah. It don't need to be a statement. Oh man. What a week, man. What a week.
You tell me. What's been going on this week? What is going on? How was your week? What did you learn this week?
I learned that no matter how far along we get in society, we're always going to go backwards. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to, the Supreme Court rulings this week and just dumb shit always.
Yeah.
And the people who, I think the media looks for the dumbest, most charged, polarizing people to interview because it makes good television.
It does.
It
does.
Because some of the most absurd shit gets said about affirmative action, about everything. And you're just like.
And think about it. Those people actually become popular people.
Yeah.
Like, think about the guy that was like, hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah.
Or oh, Lord Jesus, there's a fire. That woman ended up getting her teeth fixed.
Dude, they find people who are either very stereotypical or so polarizing that you listen to them talking like there's no way they believe what's coming out of their mouth. But it's entertaining. And the news has become more entertainment than it has than news.
Oh, yeah, because they're reaching for it. Believe me.
Everybody's looking for ratings.
Believe me. I love how everyone has become so contrary as well. They go out of their way to be the opposite.
Yeah.
They go out of their way. I don't even think they believe what they're saying.
No.
They just like
clickbait.
Yeah.
I'm doing this shit for likes.
Or my favorite is when they do go contrary, but they're like speaking on semi-political matters, but they're not speaking on it.
Yeah.
It's like this roundabout conversation, and you're like, dude, this is all clickbait, man.
It really is.
Just say what you want to say.
Well, they can't. Mm-hmm. Because they don't even know what they're trying to say.
Nah, they don't.
But they're like, you know what?
If it sells what I'm trying to sell.
You say black, I say white, simply because if I'm different than you,
right,
people are going to click on it. Right. It's going to get me likes. comments.
Right.
We live in a digital social media world that, we all depend on engagement. I mean, we depend on engagement for this podcast, but whether you listen or not, we're still saying the same shit.
Yeah.
I
think what kills me especially is, you were talking about what's going on this week. Think about, for us, two black men, how as crazy as it is and what they're saying and how they're formulating their belief system wrapped around it so they can make other people believe in it.
Yeah.
We're like, oh man, it sucks. But at the same time we go, not surprised. That's the part that just, for me, I'm like, oh man, I'm tired of saying, not surprised.
Right. Are we becoming complacent and just kind of numb to the bullshit?
Yeah.
Like we were saying that about the whole, police brutality thing, that it happens so much, or mass murders. They happen so much that we see another one pop up on TV and we're like, yeah, another one sucks, but another one. At what point is it good for society to become numb to the bullshit? I think that alone is a huge problem. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, here we go. Here we go again. Here we go. I'm tired of saying here we go again. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how was your week, dude?
My week was good. It's challenging. It was challenging. It was,
Challenge is growth.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm here to meet it. I'm not running from it. Not at all. As long as I got air in these lungs, I got these feet on the ground, even if it's just one sometimes.
Hey, it's there.
It's here. Let's go.
Let's ride.
Let's go. One of the things I learned, and I won't say I just learned, but you learn to lean into it. It's like where you find fear, that's where you go. Oh, that's the door to go through.
Oh, you got to meet it head on.
Yeah, that's the door I'm supposed to go through. I'm going through the wrong doors. Matter of fact, I wasn't going through any doors. Let me go through this door.
This shit ain't supposed to be easy.
No, never.
If it were easy, everybody would do it.
No, yeah.
There's
a author, Brendan, what's his name? Bouchard. I think that's correct.
Another book I need to read?
Yeah. I forgot the name of the book. I think it's
but I'm like, another book I need to read. He's like, but I forgot the name.
Book. It just slipped me. But he always talks about high performance achievers versus high performance. What is it? High achievers versus high performers.
Okay.
And he talks about the difference between the two is high achievers typically stay in their lane of what they know because it's their wheelhouse.
Yep.
And they do that well over and over again. High performers have their achievement, but they learn how to access more things with the way they perform in life. And they're willing to try different things in other areas of their life, knowing that they have this platform to stand on already.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
dude, there's a lot going on, and there's some funny shit that came up this week that we'll get into. I'm gonna talk about what's wrong with y'all because it's gonna lead us into the topic for today. But before we do that, I thought, to get through this what's wrong with y'all, I'm gonna need to sip on this masterpiece that you mixed up here. So why don't you tell everybody what we're drinking today?
This masterpiece is a blizzard.
Because it's hot outside in LA today.
Man. Woo. And this one is providing a chill. It's surprising because you wouldn't think cranberry juice and bourbon.
Right.
But it's 3 ounces of bourbon, cranberry juice, and lemon juice, as well as just a little bit of agave.
Yeah.
And shake it. Drop it in that glass. Oh, my goodness. It is a taster.
So we're going to cheers to our guests out there. We're going to cheers to us. This is going to be a good one.
Yes. Be sure to look them in the eye when you toast.
Absolutely.
Toast,
cheers,
my
brother.
friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
So.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hold on 1 minute, y'all.
He said, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to get to the left side of the mouth next.
Now we can go.
Let's shake them off.
So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine this week. It's always friends of mine that give us content. Mm-hmm. And I would say if you listen to the people around you, they'll give you plenty of shit to talk about.
Understand, I do have friends, but he goes out more than me.
And it's always, and this is a conversation that I had about, I posted something a while back about how if you're married, you don't go to advice from a single person. Mm-hmm. You don't get advice from an unhappily married person.
Right.
Two people you don't go to. So we kind of went through that. And then we were talking about how right now we as men get bamboozled. And I was like, what are you talking about? She shows me, like, I know her, she's like, do you realize that the majority, cause she asked me about a friend of mine, who you know, and I'll tell you offline.
Got that.
And was like, is she real? Like, on IG, she's flawless. And I was like, a little rough around the edges in person, but still cool. Mm-hmm. Still an attractive woman. And I was like, I have some friends that you look at them on IG and you see them in person, you're like, there's no difference. They are hot regardless. And so she was like, have you seen what some of these new filters can do? Dude, she sent me pictures where you just look at her picture and then she sent me a picture with the filter, right? And the filter itself just gave her a little bit of blush, a little bit of eye makeup. Like, you can dial in what you want. And I can't tell you. I was like, I don't see a difference. You just look, like you put on some makeup today. She's like, that's a filter. I put on nothing. Yeah. And then showed me examples.
Widen your eyes.
Showed me examples of other people where you made up your entire face without putting a stitch of makeup on. Mm-hmm. And what's funny, because we were talking about it, because you was telling me about how the iPhone now, when somebody sends you a picture, will tell you what did they use Snapchat filter? Did they use this filter? Or did they use that filter? And I'm like, because she heard us talking about the anti-filter before. And I'm like, that's cool knowing that they used a filter, but it still doesn't help me any because I can't see the unfilter. You know what I mean? So it's still not changing the game at all. It's just letting me know this person used a filter. And I'm like, that knowledge, I just assume everybody's using those filters. If you send me a picture, correct, I'm assuming you filtered it. Yeah. If you're on social media, I'm assuming as a woman that you filtered it. And what's interesting, most men don't do that. They don't go through the process of filtering and layered and doing all that Photoshop shit. Some dudes will make their muscles look bigger, shit like that. But for the most part, they're not face tuning. It's a woman thing, man. Where's the lie? But it was just, I was looking at that. I was like, wow, we are really being bamboozled.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
And people are being delusional, thinking that is real.
Look, I'm not. My bad. I'm good.
But dude, it was just having this conversation. I was like, wow. And then I started thinking to myself, why is that important? Yeah. Why are we having this conversation? Why are you asking me? I know what you look like, but the funny thing is it all goes back to, and people out there may hate me for saying this, how people and women in general, they hate on each other so much. Why do you care if the next broad online is filtering her shit up? Why do you care if she's plastic from head to toe? What does that do for your life? Are you in competition with her? I hear people talking about, and I'm not talking about this room, but I hear people talking all the time about, did you see her? Did you see that? Who cares? Fix your own shit.
It's a weird, but they're in competition, but they're also in a it's a weird space because they are in competition with other women as far as putting each other up or down based off of how they look or whatever. But like, say for instance, if a woman has a man or a man's around other women, it's like, oh, well, they're attracted to him. Let me see what the attraction is.
Yep.
Perfect example. You'll love this. So I don't know if I told this story before. So you always get the little samples or whatever. I'm putting on this little sample all the time, and I'm going, oh, it smells good. I'm not thinking much of it, but I'm like, it smells really good. And of course, with male pheromones, I realized that I was putting on Bijan for women, not Bijan for men.
Bijan for women. Interesting.
And the level of attraction because of that scent, I had more people like, oh my God, what are you wearing? You smell so good. You smell, and I found the way I found out is because my ex-wife had actual Bijan for women, and I said, and then she
That's
left
what I
it,
wear.
and I was like, this shit still this similar.
It's like, this is the shit I'm wearing. You just swipe her bottle.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, it was gone.
Oh yeah.
It was
But
gone.
isn't it amazing how a scent,
Yeah.
Like I always say, there's nothing sexier to me as a man than seeing a well-dressed, attractive woman who appears confident roll up on you, and then when she walks by, the scent hits you after and stops you. Like, she looks cool, that doesn't stop you in your tracks. She smells good, you stop and you look.
But think about alcohol beverages. Women typically go for whiter liquors because of the scent. Their nose is more attractive versus men. They don't have as strong of a scent. That's why, like a bourbon, something that has a little, it's all a part of the smell process for us. I mean, for them versus us.
Yeah,
they're more attracted to like a white liquor.
And I've had women roll up on me purely because of my cologne. And they'll just roll and be like,
I'm sure,
dude,
because your elevated smells like.
They'll just roll up on me and be like, man. And I'm like,
yeah.
And it'll be squirt 2 a.m, and then all day. It'll be the end of the day after a full day of surgery, and people are like, I knew you were here because I could smell you. I'm like, leave my fucking mark. It's like that wolf that pisses on a tree in the corner. It's mine. Smell that.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it is. What's funny is that, just talking back about this delusional aspect of, if I put these filters on, nobody's gonna know. No, we all know. We all know. Your friends know what you really look like. Who you fooling? And eventually we got to see you in person.
Yeah.
Just saying. The other what's wrong with y'all, like we talked about on the warm-up show, I mentioned it on a post yesterday, was the Supreme Court affirmative action ruling. And I was just showing a clip to Coach, and we were talking about what California has. There's a few states who basically taken away race as something to consider for admissions in the UC system.
And California was like
The first one, yeah. What they didn't anticipate when they did that was a 50% drop in admissions from Black and Latino students. And then they tried to find a way other than race to try to up that admissions. And to this day, they haven't been able to figure it out.
Because you only identify with race.
And
you identify with color.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the merit of what they do. You can't tell me that. That's absolute BS.
And so you're wondering why there's such a drop, because you're taking away affirmative action. It's not because these kids aren't smart enough to be there. They just need the opportunity, And like I always say, affirmative action doesn't keep you in a position. It just helps you get one. That simple, So all of you out there who have been beneficiaries of affirmative action, who are now screaming, I want to be judged by my merit, shut your pie hole.
Miss me with that shit.
Shut your pie hole, because you too benefited from the exact thing that you're going against.
I know some people that are like that too.
Yeah, I know a few. And I'm just like
we just said, we know them.
Yes, know them well.
We don't hang out with them.
I can't hang out with people like that.
No.
The minute you start talking that shit, don't you want to be,
They're in denial.
judged? Don't you want to be judged on who you are? I'm like, I'm judged on who I am every day. I was like, but I wouldn't be able to be who I am unless somebody gave me a shot.
Right.
It's that simple, And you're in the same spot. Nobody would be able to give you a shot. I'm talking to you out there in TV land. Unless somebody opened the door. Right. Unless somebody unlocked the door for you.
Yeah.
People have been doing it since the beginning of time with nepotism, helping out their friend, helping out their son or their daughter, legacies. You go to a university, there's a legacy. Your kids will probably have the opportunity to go there. Not because they're smarter than the person whose parents didn't go there. It's just, all things being equal, his dad went to Harvard, we're going to take him. That happens all the time. So what's the difference between that and somebody getting an extra nudge because, you know what, we need this school to represent the world as opposed to the school representing white America?
Yeah. Think about America's favorite president. There was nepotism. He got into school.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know where he went to college. Was it all right?
Did he? I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, but
Right.
Daddy did a lot for him.
Daddy did a whole lot.
And
Daddy also hid money behind his name.
right? And those of us who don't have Daddy doing it for us, sometimes we need just an opportunity. Yeah. All affirmative action does is give people an opportunity who otherwise might not be noticed and get that opportunity.
Right.
Stop hating on it. And you black people out there, you brown people out there, you minority groups out there who are all against it because you want to be judged on your merit. Merit is part of it. And until we are all considered equal, it can't be just merit because you will never get a shot.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We were
I don't care how great you are.
We were considered 3/5 of a man.
Yeah.
3/5 of a man. Mm-hmm. And technically, we were actually considered more of 1/5 at that time. So it means right now we're considered 3/5, which is why we have to work doubly and triply as hard.
Absolutely.
To become considered okay.
I've had people tell me to my face, I didn't expect you to be as good as you are.
Mm-hmm. I bet you have.
Or people tell me to my face, I was shocked to see you walk in the room based on your reputation. Yeah. Like, I walked into the room.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm playing this out in my head. I'm like,
I can only imagine, just like,
what fucking reputation did I have?
Now my psychology and my something's
I'm
going
like,
on.
What kind of reputation did I have? Oh, because I had a good reputation of being great at my job.
You had a good reputation, but
you expected somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Glad I shocked the shit out of you. Yeah. Now, let me fix that back.
Now you just curse at them.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you what you expected.
Right.
Let the thug come out.
Ain't nothing
thug in me.
I'm thug adjacent.
Right? I ain't a thug, never claimed to be. Never.
I ain't no killer, but don't push me.
Yeah, I ain't delusional. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's just little stuff that I wanted to get off my chest today. Let's get to the meat of the podcast, man. Yeah. So, Coach and I always talk about this. We probably brought it up in other podcasts as well. But today we thought we would focus purely on the delusional individual and how people think they're something they're not, how people think they have what they don't, and they're delusional on what they think how people view them.
Man, where do we start with this one? Where do we start? Do we start male, female?
Well, we can first start with like what we were talking about, affirmative action. People now are saying, no, I have my position because of who I am and my beliefs and my ability to do my job. I feel you, but don't be delusional in thinking your race had nothing to do with your being in the spot that you're in if you are a successful person of color.
Right. I mean, think about, and I hate to bring her up, Candace on.
Yeah.
she got into her position where she is currently because, what was it, school? Didn't she have a class action suit with the NAACP?
NAACP backing her.
Backing her.
So the reason why we can say Candace Owens, because if Laura Ingraham were saying everything that Candace Owens was saying, Laura Ingraham, I mean, put it this way. If Candace Owens was white, nobody would know who Candace Owens is saying what she's saying. No. But because she's a black woman saying the things that she's saying, she's now being heard. So you don't want your color to matter. If your color didn't matter, you would not be in the position you're in. It's that simple. Sorry.
So if you ever have a problem with whatever it is in your life, do what he just did. Dial it back to the simplest form. The very root of everything. Yeah. You will get to the true answers.
Absolutely. And it bugs me when people can't see reality. And I think that's what we're talking about today. People's inability to focus and see what's real. People who think they're smarter than they are. It always reminds me of In Living Color when dudes used to be talking about big words.
Man, that was what he said. Man, that was Metamucil. Right. So, yeah, I think being more, and we talked about this with imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Because there's a difference between being having an imposter syndrome versus being an actual fraud. Imposter syndrome is not believing in where you are or why you can't get to that next step. Let's say you're a 7, you're trying to get to 8. You can't see that because you're not there yet. But a person that is a 7, they're thinking they're a 10.
So so in that respect, who do you think's more delusional, men or women?
I think women are.
Right, because if you ask a group of women, and I hate these rating scales of 1 to 10, but that's just kind of what everybody
that's
can
what
understand.
We go to. Numbers.
Yeah, that's what everybody can understand.
Stats.
So if you ask a group of women, rank yourself 1 to 10, I don't know any of them that'll say I'm not a 10. And because here's the thing. Everybody thinks that they don't want to say I'm not a 10 because they feel like, you go girl, you're a queen, whatever, right? But then you ask them, but are you perfect? Oh, no, I'm not perfect. Well, you just said you're a 10, but you're not perfect. You ask a lot of men, what would you rate yourself? I guarantee you see a lot of dudes, probably 5 or 6. Because we'll tone it down.
I literally was about to say, I think I'm a 5.
And it's like,
I have my whole world to look forward to.
Yeah.
I would love to be a 7, 8.
I got nowhere to go but up.
Yep. And the thing is, when you think, I think as men a lot of times, and when we get to that 7, 8 in our mind, or 9, whatever we think that is, now I'm a 5 or 6 at this level.
Yeah, because I can feel good about myself. But the minute I start thinking I don't need to work on anything, that's living a delusional life. Mm-hmm. And we can always work on something. So I will never be a 10. I'll never be a 9. Excuse me. But yeah, it's wild that people will think that, yeah, I'm a 10, girl. Really? Mm-hmm. Explain to me what that means to you. Mm-hmm. Well, we should all think a certain way. We should all feel good about ourselves. We should all be happy the way we are. Then why do we go to the gym? Why do we exercise? Why do we change our diets? Fuck it. Why do we put on makeup if we're happy with the way we are? Because you're not. Your happiness is you being delusional and thinking that you're going to convince us that you're happy.
So it's always an external factor. We talked about that before. It's always something else outside of themselves that forces them to think there's something they're not.
And I'm only doing it for myself. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You
never have been.
You're doing it for attention. Men and women alike, we do things for attention. Now, men, we work out because we want to feel good, but we also want to look good. We're not trying to get attention from other women. I mean, from other dudes. We want to look good because you want your significant other or people around you to be like, oh, he's got his shit together.
But that's not our primary. Our primary is for us.
Exactly.
As opposed to typically women's primary is for others.
Exactly. You'll
the
have
younger generation. What I found for me is when you're, when you're getting into your 40s, late 50s, it really becomes more about you. But that earlier than 40, younger than 40, no, it's about the attention they need.
And something else people are really delusional about is success. and the reason why I say that is because everybody feels that I don't need to go to school. I don't do this because I'm going to be a successful influencer, or I'm going to make money this way. And I'm like, well, I get it.
I hear you.
But you realize there's 1 billion plus people on social media. How many are actual influencers that make a great sum of money? Less than 1%. Here's something else that people are delusional about. And who's more delusional? I mean, I keep asking because we're going to talk about men and women. Fuck it. Who's more
those are the people that are delusional, right?
Who's more delusional in expectations of what they want versus what they can get? So you will take an average dude.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who, hardworking guy. Maybe he's a dude that's, works for the city, climbing telephone poles, whatever. Average job, good job, pays well.
Right.
But just a hardworking guy. He's not going to say, oh, I can get Beyonce. It's just not even in his mind. You take any average woman off the street, and she will 100% say she deserves a Jay-Z.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For the most part.
Well,
yeah.
and the reason why I say that is because you talk to women.
I'm thinking about how he looks, but
No, I'm talking about just
that type of.
So you talk about women. A lot of women will say, "Well, I want a dude that's 6 foot, a dude that has this, a dude that has that, a dude that makes all this money," and that's 0.01% of men. Mm-hmm. And in her mind, she's like, "Oh, I can have that." And then you're like,
"Now that's delusion,
right?" But you might be able to, but then you look at your resume and you are 50, 3 kids, 3 different dads, overweight, no job, and you still think that's the guy that you deserve. That is delusional.
It sounds like you said, and you still stink. which is a Freudian slip right there. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
Right, but
yeah, you're right.
Not putting shame on that woman, but the guy that you're talking about doesn't want that. But in your mind, you're not seeing that. You just feel that's what you deserve. And we've talked about what people feel they deserve in the past, but that's delusional thinking.
It's very much so delusional thinking.
A man who doesn't have anything going for himself, he's just sitting at home on the couch playing video games. If you ask him what he thinks he can get, he's not going to name that person. You can be like,
when you said that, it brought in a story for me. So I was looking at Method Man.
Yeah,
this was a few years ago when he was being interviewed, and they said, he said he was talking about how he was at home. He was just playing video games, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just BSing, getting fat, eating whatever he wanted to. And he's like, he realized that he was slightly depressed. And he was like, I'm up this early, might as well go to the gym. I'm tired of looking this way. So let me stop playing video games. He went to the gym, but he focused on him.
Yes.
He put all his intentions into him. His intention was to not be where he was. I don't like the way I feel or look right now, and I'm not projecting that into my life. So guess what? I'm going to go to the gym.
I'm going to be the man that I want to be and become the man that I think will attract the woman that I want.
Right.
Women think you should accept them for what they are. Mm-hmm. I don't need to change my life. You need to accept me for how I am.
I mean, that's what kept Kevin Samuels in business for many years.
He talked about that all the time.
I mean, you can hate him, but don't deny the truth.
I mean,
of yourself.
Yeah, it's like You may not like the messenger, but the message was on point.
Yeah.
You know, how it was delivered, you can.
It was harsh.
Yeah, but the message itself was, you don't deserve what you can't bring to the table. You don't deserve more than you are willing to do for yourself. You know what I mean? It's delusional thinking. You know, if you are 100 pounds overweight, you're delusional in thinking that every man should want that and be okay with that. And it's not the case. There will be some, but those aren't the guys you want. You want the guy who has options. And the guy who has a lot of options probably isn't looking at you. Mm-hmm. And I said this earlier. He may sleep with you, but he ain't going to date you. It's, ladies, I'm going to hip y'all to some game. Just because we'll have sex with you doesn't mean we want to make you our boo. It's that simple. You look at the range of women that a man will sleep with versus the range of women that a man will put in that he'll go into a relationship with. Very, very different. That narrows down.
Yeah, because in many ways, especially when it comes to weight or whatever, it's a hunter's mentality. It's kind of like, oh, let me see what happens. Oh, let me try this out and see what happens. Because he can, just because he can. Especially if it's the low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit, and if he thinks nobody's going to find out, he'll try it. Yeah. But don't think he's going to wife you. It's not going to happen. If you are a single mom with a bunch of kids, no job, on welfare, don't think a high value man is going to wife you. He will sleep with you. But the guy you say you will only date ain't looking for you. He's looking for other things. Mm-hmm. Sorry to be harsh, but it's the truth, And when you have this delusional mindset, what ends up happening is you are closed off to a lot of things in the world that could be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, call it is what it is. I mean, delusional mindset is there's no placement on self. And that's when it becomes delusional. There's no placement on self. There's no value of you. It's a value of what you get from other things that help you feel better about yourself. It has nothing to do with you.
And I was having this conversation yesterday at work. Look at the people because we were talking about how in Florida, they started cutting back on migrant workers and hiring citizens. And they're starting to realize they're showing up to work late. They're calling in sick. They're not coming to work. Their productivity just is different.
Yeah.
And then I started talking about, you look at all the jobs that people, quote unquote, don't want to do. Mm-hmm. How many white people, black people, or Asian people have you seen at the car wash? How many black people, white people, Asian people have you seen at Home Depot standing outside, or at the U-Haul place, standing outside waiting to be picked up to come help you move, build some shit, whatever it may be? Mm-hmm. How many people other than the Hispanic community have you seen on the side of the freeway selling oranges, selling flowers, selling whatever? Why? Because they're not delusional in thinking they deserve something different. They're willing to work for whatever. I think here in this country, we've become delusional in thinking that we deserve something that we didn't work for. Mm. You know what I mean? And, I can't do that job because it's beneath me. Then you ain't broke enough and you ain't hungry. And if you think that somebody's going to hand you something, that's just crazy. If you think somebody's going to do something for you because you're pretty, or because you're handsome, or because you're smart, that's delusional, But yet, that's how people live their life, and it's some crazy shit. I mean, it really is.
It's actually very sad.
I laugh about it all the time, and I'm like, there's nothing. Let me come up on hard times. There's nothing I won't do to eat every day. Mm-hmm. Done it. There's no job that I feel is beneath me. especially if I have nothing. Now, in the position I'm in, I don't have to do certain things because I have the ability to pay people to do it. If I didn't have the ability, like, for example, people, I was like, oh, you got a housekeeper. Let her take the week off. My house doesn't get dirty because I know how to clean my own shit.
Right.
You know?
Now you just choose not to.
I choose not to. I make money so I can prioritize my time.
Right.
Because you can't put a price on that. So her coming here cleaning my house is time I don't have to spend doing that. That's how I look at it. And it gives her a job, you know? But let me come on hard times. COVID, she spent 4 months not coming to my house. My house didn't just fall apart. You know?
As I learned, you got that. I was like, oh, boy.
You know, you figure it out. Yeah. You know, but too many people think, like I said, we go back to what people feel they deserve. People think that stuff is just going to appear for them out of thin air.
Mm-hmm. With no effort.
Like, for example, people who go get a college degree. They figure, oh, I'm going to go to school and I'm immediately going to get a job. That's delusional thinking because a college degree doesn't impart, oh, I'm getting a job. Mm-hmm. No, you still got to put in the work. You got to get a degree in something that somebody wants.
It's funny you say that because I remember coming out of college, well, before I left college, I interviewed with like consulting groups.
Yeah.
Like Bain & Company. But I mean, of course I wasn't getting a job because, you know, they're only going to hire a certain percentage and they're looking for a certain person. I know I didn't fit the bill, but I was like, F it. Why not try anyway? Right. That way, if I put my ring in the hat, I know exactly how to interview. I learned how to have these kind of conversations with people that I think that are a little bit above me.
Yes.
So put me at least in the arena so I'll have an understanding. So guess what I did? First job out of college, I worked for the Atlanta Hawks. How did I get that job? I just learned how to talk to people.
Mm-hmm. You play on your strengths.
Yeah.
So something Coach and I were talking about earlier, and I think this is probably, and I want to save this to the last comment that we can discuss because this is probably, we can say a lot about this one. Remember what I just showed you about everybody always says happy wife, happy life, right? And we say that because men are conditioned to think as long as we make her happy, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, somebody you're dating, as long as we make her happy, she'll be happy and our life will be good. How many of you out there, and you guys can hit me up and really think about this, how many men out there feel they know what it takes to make their woman happy? And I'll tell you, you're delusional in thinking
absolutely
you can make her happy. Because in my experience, not being married, but just dating women, there's never a level of complete satisfaction with you. Women are never completely satisfied. Like, you know what? I'm perfectly happy right now with you.
Absolute content.
It does not exist.
That's what we do. Our level of contentment at that moment is like, okay, I'm good. And we can sit in it for Lord knows how long.
Right.
And be good.
But here's what's happening is that we keep trying to do things to make and I'm only speaking in heterosexual relationships. As a man, we keep trying to do things to make her happy and forgetting that it's fleeting. You don't make somebody happy and then they stay happy. And if you have to make them happy, you're losing because you're delusional in thinking that's possible.
Yeah.
You can't make a woman happy.
And what also happens is you're getting a loss of self.
Yes.
Not just a loss of that circumstance. You're getting a loss of self.
So you're chasing something, especially when you're trying to make a woman happy who's not happy with herself. So if she's not already happy and you're doing all these things, you're trying to be, you could be the perfect spouse. You could do everything she asks. You could clean up. You could take out the garbage. You can do all the quote unquote man duties. You could pay all the bills. You could do all this stuff. I promise you, and if any of you out there listening disagree with me, let me know. I promise you there's going to be some shit she's unhappy with you about. You're doing everything you know of, everything you ask her, and she's still not happy at times. Why? Because you can't make somebody happy all the time. And so the statement that we were reading that we saw was, instead of focusing on trying to make her happy, focus on being a better man and being happy within yourself, and she will find happiness in you. If I'm wrong, let me know. But tell me how,
That's high quality leadership. That's performing at the highest level, because everybody's looking for self, or they think they're looking for self, but it's vital for a man to be within himself. There's a level of attention that, or admiration, or things that come to me because I take that step to say, you know what, I'm good with me.
right.
And this is the way it is, and this is the way I feel about me. Oh, and then they're like, they're feeding into that.
And you know why? She's not looking, and this is what men need to understand. She's not looking for you to do everything she wants from you.
Right.
What she's looking for, women don't need you to make them happy. Women need you to make them feel safe and cared for.
Yeah.
Very different. Because if they feel safe, cared for, and provided for, they will find happiness in that space.
Yeah.
You know, you doing everything for them, you bending at their whim, allows them to realize that they're now taking the leadership role when they want you to lead them.
That's very interesting that you say it that way, because that's what happens. You have a loss of self, and there's no control. And the only person that has control is her, which means she has control of this narrative that you do everything for her.
Which makes her unhappy.
Yeah.
That she has to be in control.
Yeah.
Every woman, no matter how powerful, and I used to say this, whether you're Hillary Clinton, whether you're Michelle Obama, whoever you are, whether you're the Queen of England, every woman at some point in time in their life feel a need and want to be led. They want to be able to sit back and say, babe, you got this. I don't care how powerful boss you are. A woman wants that dude to take the lead and make her feel safe.
And more importantly, not even have to say, babe, you got this.
Just
she knows this, like, babe, I got this. And she go,
she doesn't have to say anything. That is her happy place.
Yeah.
When she doesn't have to tell you to lead or how to lead, that's her happy place. You doing things because you think it's going to make her happy? No. Doing things to make her feel safe and cared for?
Yeah.
Different. And
Way
I think
different.
And I think dudes don't know how to understand that concept of, oh, I got to make her happy. No. Be a man, make her feel safe, loved, and secure. Done. And she's giddy, as happy as can be.
Yeah.
Like a 6-year-old schoolgirl with a new doll.
Yeah.
You know? Because trying to make her find her happiness, you'll fail every time.
Yeah.
She's got to be happy with herself. Just like you have to focus on your purpose and be happy with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, men, if you live with passion, purpose, and commitment to yourself, it shows to everyone. It goes, and this is beyond your relationship. This is at work.
People in general.
In your life, you know, people are like, he's about him. Okay, cool.
Prime example, I'll tell you. I'm at dinner last night with basically a group of bankers.
Okay.
You know, you have me and my buddy, doctors, and then a group of bankers and their wives.
Okay.
Right? And we're just all hanging out. And I'd met half the people for the first time last night. And they were asking me about, what I do, because everybody's fascinated that I'm a surgeon. I'm fascinated that, shit, you used to work for Goldman Sachs.
Right.
Y'all try to destroy the world. But no, and we were talking about, and he was like, yeah, one guy was like, I recently retired, blah, blah, whatever.
I bet.
And I'm like, you know what? He's like, and he's like, why do you do what you do? I was like, I'm extremely content and happy. And he's like, why? I was like, because what I do every day, I love it. It is my purpose, and I would do it no matter what. And he just started smiling, and he's like, I get it. He's like, yeah, finance, in a way, we are changing the world. We're good for the world. We're doing all this stuff. But he's like, I see it in your face. You really are. This really is your purpose. I'm like, yeah. And so I thought everybody forgot, people weren't listening to the conversation. We go and getting ready to leave. And one of the guys was like, great conversation tonight, man. Amazing person you are. And just left. And the reason why I say that is because as a man, if you are chasing your purpose, if you are living in your passion, people will follow you. Mm-hmm. Men, women, kids, everybody picks up on it without you saying a word. They can sense it. If you're telling everybody, this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing, it's almost like you're trying to convince them. If you are living it, really, they see it. They don't have to be convinced. The people you're meant to lead at work will follow. At home, your kids, your spouse, your significant other, your wife, your girlfriend, they will see it, and they will live in that space and push you forward because they know if he's living his purpose, he's happy, which means I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because women in general are nurturers. They want to see, it makes them happy to see you happy. The ones that are delusional and think, I need money, I need bags, I need to be a boss to be happy. How many boss women do you see are happy? They're not. They like the fact that they can buy things for themselves.
Right.
But they're not happy because they're not living in their purpose.
Yeah.
They're stepping aside and having to take on a role that I know so many female physicians that in a drop of a hat would say, you know what, I'd give this all up just to be with my family and be a stay-at-home mom. It's wild. You went through all this schooling and all this and
built this career in life.
Right. Their desire isn't to be the boss. They enjoy doing this and they would still do it, but they're like, I would rather be at home with my kids and being a mom. And it's wild. This highly educated. So when people are trying to convince me otherwise, I'm like, we have different paths in life, and no woman wants to always be the leader at all.
No.
I mean, think about your wife. What if she always had to tell Kenny what to do all the time? I mean, she'd get annoyed. Sometimes, like remember how we were talking about earlier, how women will say things, do things, and then every now and then you just, as a dude, you got to put your foot down, just give them that look like, all right, enough. And they'll say, oh,
okay,
I went too far.
My bad, Shawty. My bad.
I tried to push you too far. My bad.
Yeah, my bad. Yep, sure.
Every single time. And that will be the same as if you're trying so hard to make them happy.
Yeah,
they're not going to respect you, because you're trying too hard to give them something that they should be finding in themselves. Because
what happens is you give them a role as opposed to having a participation role. You're giving them a very specific role, which is you got to tell us how to make this work. And once that happens, it's like, okay, I'm not feeling this. This is not working for me.
Because think about this. One of my friends texted me yesterday. She was like, so really, what do men want? And I texted her one word back. I said, peace. Right? And I'm going to pull up her exact statement back to me, because I was like this. She's like, so what do men really want? I was like, peace. She's like, so no nagging, even if it's legit good cause nagging? I was like,
no such thing.
I was like this. You asked and I answered.
Now you're nagging.
I was like, in the eyes of a man, there is no such thing as legit good cause nagging. And she was like, sigh, bummer. And I'm like, so what is it about the need to continue to come at a dude about your feelings and what you're thinking? You wonder why men just say, yes, dear. It's not because they're trying to make you happy. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to get this over with.
Yeah. The faster we get to peace, the better.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you don't want to make a mistake as a woman is push your man to the point where all he's trying to do is get you to stop. He wants you to be his place of peace, and if you're not his place of peace, He just wants it to be over. You know, he's no longer thinking about your happiness. He just wants you to not nag him.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I did a post the other day about being experts, like people like yourself, myself. Like when someone comes up to me and asks me, like, okay, what do I need to do to get rid of this body fat right here? And then you're like, maybe you need to just change your diet. And then that nagging, because I'm trying to get to peace, even as a leader or as an expert, again, from a man to an expert now, as an expert, I'm like, okay, well, I just told you, you're asking me again. So guess what? I'm no longer happy, so I'm going to punch you in the mouth. I said, you need to stop fucking doing what you're doing. That's it. I have nothing else.
You know,
and they're like,
but what's interesting is that when it's wild how somebody will take that from somebody who they're paying to teach them things, but they won't take that from somebody they love.
Right.
They'll get punched in the mouth by a stranger, metaphorically.
Of course.
But let their significant other punch them in the mouth about something that is good for them.
Of course.
It's a battle. It's a fight.
And that's why a lot of times we won't do it, because we don't want you.
We don't want the fight.
Don't want you in the fight. You're in a state of delusion. Like you're thinking that it's going to be something else because you created how it's supposed to look on the outside, even though I know what it's supposed to look like and how it goes.
Yep.
So you know what? Screw it. Go ahead. Have
Sure.
at it. Have at it. Do
Right.
do you boo?
Because seriously, I mean, it's
exhausting.
that's that delusional thought of it has to be my way.
Yeah.
And I've put in my brain, you talk to women and they ask you a question and you give an answer. In their mind, they've already come up with what they thought your response should be. And I saw this post the other day where somebody was like, do you feel a man should read your mind? Yes, he should. Do you feel that who's a better communicator, men or women? Oh, women. But you just said a man should read your mind. And if a man can't read your mind and you can't communicate with him, who's the better communicator? You're not the better communicator if you can't communicate to your dude what your wants and needs are. You're expecting him to just know.
Yeah.
We're very good at, are you fine? Yes, I'm fine. It goes back to those things. If you ask your woman, are you fine? We're supposed to read your tone of I'm fine.
Right.
We're supposed to read your mind.
Right.
I'm fine, but I'm really not.
Look,
you know, and you're delusional in thinking that we're going to understand that, and you get pissed off at us when we don't read your mind. That's delusional.
Yeah.
I don't care how you put it. That shit is delusional.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
you are going to be disappointed. You are going to be upset. You are going to be frustrated as a woman, because guess what? You have put now your feelings bear them on someone else that has absolutely no idea that you feel that way you do. And you're down stuck. And then if he actually answers it right, you're probably going to switch gears so you can feel better about yourself, because you need him to be wrong. That's the other part.
Yes.
Why do you feel like someone needs to be wrong? Why is there an effort to reach out and push something so that way there's that little twist?
Right.
So that way it verifies and vilifies and make you okay with being in this position.
You know, and we're
don't
not,
get that.
you guys will listen to this and think that we're attacking women. We're not attacking women. We're just telling you what goes on in the mind of a man and kind of how we think, because we're men, in case you haven't realized it. And so we're giving you a man's perspective on the reason why we feel we can't make you happy if you're not happy with yourself. We can't make you happy, period.
Yeah.
You have to be happy with yourself, and then we can be happy with you. Yeah. But we can't make you happy. And men who think if you think you can make a woman happy by buying her gifts, taking her on expensive trips, doing all these things, there are plenty of rich, wealthy men who are giving the world to their women who still get cheated on. Because those women will still sleep with the dude that makes them, that is on his purpose and they find contentment with.
Yeah.
Just because you are wealthy and buying shit she may not be happy. And a lot of women will accept it because they are happy with the lifestyle.
Yeah.
They're just not happy with you.
So let's just even state it this way. Men are delusional if you think you're going to make a woman happy by treating her and trying to filter into whatever it is that you think that's going to make her feel better about herself. You got to feel good about you. You got to own up to you. You got to love you. You got to announce you when you walk through the door. You got to be like, you know what? My name is Mr. You know what I'm saying? Not Mr. Not Mr. Not from the movie. Not from Color Purple. Don't want to be that Mr.
Don't want to be that Mr.
But you want to be who you are. You want to own up to who you are. You want to live in the level of joy of who you are. That's where your peace starts.
Be the man that you're supposed to be. Don't be the man that she's trying to make you into.
Yeah.
Or don't try to be the man that you think she wants you to be.
Yeah. Because the man, believe it or not, the man she fell in love with is the man that you started off being.
Exactly. She's not trying to change you. She's throwing shit at you to see if you're going to change.
Yeah.
It's a test. You are dating women and being married to a woman is a lifelong test.
Plus, I mean, they also have these outside resources that tell them that it's supposed to be this way or that way and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's about what she really, really, really wants. And she has no idea, but she fell in love with you. So you might as well be the best version of you for you, and she will enjoy that process.
Exactly. She'll find happiness in you.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, man. Good topic today, dude.
Yeah, man.
Really, really good topic today. We didn't know where this was going to go. I mean, seriously, people.
No, we didn't.
We had no idea where this was going to go, y'all. But we let these.
We were delusional,
right? We weren't delusional.
No, we weren't delusional. Yeah.
We let these topics ride where they're going to go and hope for the best.
And give it a space to win.
Exactly, Coach. Man, always a pleasure every week doing this, man. It's therapy. It's good conversation. Where are they going to find you?
Coach KJ Knows on Instagram. Coach KJ Knows at CoachKJ.com. Where are you going to find you?
They're going to find me at Lionel Hunt on Instagram, and they're going to find me at huntspine.com. You'll find us both at SOE_podcast, and you'll find us both on podcastsoe.com. We are here every week, every Wednesday. New podcast comes out. Every Saturday, as long as we can get to it. Every Saturday, IG Live, where we do the warm-up show.
That's right.
We just coined that today, y'all.
The warm-up show.
Enjoy, man, and we're out.
Yeah.